Omo Kasala don burst again because this time around, the opposition that was supposed to defeat Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027 is quietly looking for Plan B.
I think what we see here is the season of the alternative platform. PRP today, there's conversations about NDC as well, but what it highlights is the fragmentation of opposition parties. Tight deadlines. We've got less than 48 hours until Supreme Court rulings for both ADC and PDP, and then we've got 3 weeks until INEC's deadline for the submission of membership registers, all of which comes together to form, or rather to potentially affect what will be the opposition, what's supposed to be the super opposition. Because as we saw in 2023, a fractured, fragmented opposition is largely unable to unseat an incumbent. The hopes for a unified opposition are getting bleaker by the day. As we can see, the competition between individuals has now intensified, and it's likely that we're going to have spillover into other parties. Will the vote be split again, as we saw in 2020?
It's shocking, Abu. Wait, make I break it down for you. Opposition figures inside the ADC are now in serious discussions with the People's Redemption Party, the PRP, as a fallback platform. And the reason is simple. ADC is in serious trouble. The Supreme Court, the INEC deadline, 3 factions fighting, and now Peter Obi and Amaechi having secret meetings. And the clock is ticking. Now, ADC has a May 10th deadline from INEC to submit party membership registers. Only people under-registered before the deadline can contest in the primaries. But here's the problem. ADC's leadership crisis has been in court for months. 3 factions are fighting for control. INEC has already deleted David Mark and Aregbesola from their portal, and the Supreme Court has fixed April 22nd to hear the appeal. That is less than 2 days from now, right? If the Supreme Court does not resolve this quickly, the whole party structure could collapse just as the primary season begins. So what are the big names doing? They are looking for a way out. That's just it. And that way out is called PRP. The People's Redemption Party, PRP, has been around for 47 years. Their national chairman Akim Baba Ahmed has confirmed publicly that key opposition figures have opened discussions with his party. Now, the PRP Lagos chairman said it plainly: if ADC collapses, these leaders need a stable platform, and PRP is ready to receive them. Now, this is not just small talk. Multiple parties are approaching the same people. The Nigerian Democratic Congress has also even invited Peter Obi and Kwankwaso to join them. Every platform is raising their hand saying, if ADC falls apart, come to us, we dey for you. That tells you something about how serious the uncertainty is right now. Now, while all of this is happening, Rotimi Amaechi just hosted Peter Obi at his Abuja residence over the weekend. Victor Ume was there, former Anambra governor, and sources even say discussions centered on strengthening the opposition and Nigeria's democratic future. But let us be real. 2 men competing for the same presidential ticket sitting down together is not just about democracy. That is strategy. Either way, they are negotiating who step down for who, or they are making sure that if ADC collapses, they move together to the same new platform. Either way, the conversation is happening behind closed doors right now. But here's what Rufai Osini had to say. Take a listen.
ADC is boxed in a corner already. They've got about 4 to 5 court cases. Yes, if my memory serves me right. Apart from, coupled with internal cases, there are some state court cases. Then they've got Supreme Court case, I think that will be decided this week. They've got another federal high court case, the substantive matter, the Nafi Gombe scenario. They've got another one by the state party chairman. So 3 heavy court cases. They've got another one as regards even the registration of the political party. That's 4. And these cases keep piling up, and you have a very short and limited time. It will be a replica of Daman miracle if the ADC can come out of what they have put themselves in. Yes, they are talking to the PRP. Will that pan out? Will they be able to make their decisions on time? Only time will tell. But all of this, like we've constantly argued, let the ruling party, let people and other political parties breathe. What is my fact as regards that argument? This is my fact. The case of the PDP. When you look at what's happening in the PDP, somebody's currently serving in the ruling government and it's been an albatross in the PDP. That's a fact to that effect. And he has openly come out to say, despite being an opposition party, that he's doing the bidding of the president. That's a fact to that effect. For the integrity of INEC, we should all ensure that, I don't know who's going to overlook it, an independent forensic assessment is made on Professor...
They said there's a report being released
today.
They said they're investigating.
No. They're not saying investigating their findings. An
Independent.
independent forensic evaluation should be made, looking at the message trail, the accounts used to open, and the phone numbers all linked to that page. Because if that is not done, integrity is in jeopardy.
Yeah, and the VPNs.
And the VPNs. So an independent one. So let's so that we all know. And I'm saying this because till today, INEC integrity is already tainted with the technical glitch in 2023. So we do not want this scenario. And we're saying it because we want the integrity of INEC to be upheld.
Already
That's all.
The process of appointment is already questionable.
Yeah.
Now, let me be honest with you about what this all means. The opposition had one job: get into one party, agree on one candidate, and face Tinubu together. Instead, they now have 3 factions in court, an INEC deadline closing in, secret meetings between rivals, and multiple parties offering them a plan B. That is exactly what happened in 2023. Too many egos, too many agendas, too much noise, and Tinubu walked through the middle. Now, Peter Obi said he will be on the 2027 ballot no matter what. Atiku has said he will step aside for any winner. Amaechi has said no consensus, everybody must contest at the primary. So we have 3 people in the same party with 3 completely different approaches, and the Supreme Court hearing on April 22nd is now the most important political event in Nigeria this week, because whatever happens in that courtroom will determine whether the opposition has a vehicle or whether they are scrambling for a new one.
What I'm saying in essence is that they can move from party to party, but if you look at the trend and the patterns, you would see that once a new opposition party gets a voice or has a voice, all of a sudden it falls into problems. It might be coincidental, it might just be issues around internal democracy or political parties, but we need to look into it a bit more deeply. And this has already been prophesied, if I put it that way, or projected, because with the state of the ADC and the challenge of the time limit that they have, it is wise for many of the key stakeholders there who are seeking political office to find other vehicles or other platforms to run. But the bigger question for me this morning, if you look at this, is this big issue around INEC and the transparency of INEC. One of the issues that have come up in recent times is the fact that the current INEC chairman, who is appointed by the president, by the way, and we have talked about that when we talk about electoral reform, that as long as the president who is running for in the same election has the powers to appoint the INEC chairman, it will be very difficult to have someone who is fair and transparent. And so you can move from party to party, but what we have seen, if you look at the pattern, is that as long as the opposition is able to find a voice somehow, one way or the other, challenge occurs within the party or something is flagged. And so there are institutional challenges or institutional gaps that must be addressed if we're going to see free and fair elections and for the opposition parties or opposition in Nigeria, for any democracy to thrive. So whilst they're moving to the PRP, all well and good, but the bigger question is then what happens afterwards? Is there confidence in INEC under this current chairmanship or under the current makeup or current design whereby the president appoints the INEC chairman? Are they able to prosecute a free and fair and balanced election? I do believe that the INEC chairman still has questions to answer with regards to some of his previous posts, as has now been verified by AI and by X itself, that there were certain posts that were made in favor of a particular political party. These are questions we should ask. It's not just about moving from party to party. It is that even if they move to whatever party they move to, would the election be free and fair?
I want to know what you think. If ADC falls apart today, should Atiku, Peter Obi, and Rotimi Amaechi move to PRP together? Or would that be the final nail in the opposition's 2027 coffin? Drop your honest take in the comments. So now the full updates be that ADC is in serious trouble and opposition is quietly looking at PRP as plan B. Amaechi and Peter Obi are meeting privately and the Supreme Court decides everything on April 22nd. Or more, 2027 is less than a year away and the opposition still does not have a stable platform. If you enjoyed this breakdown, I beg, like this video, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss any updates. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in my next video.